This is the scariest horror game I played in a while. You don't believe me? Well, let me change your mind. Welcome to Fate, the Unholy Trinity. Let's be honest here, modern horror games are not scary. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that a flashing PNG with a blasting sound is enough to be considered horror. And don't get me wrong, jumpscare can be a valuable source of horror, but when a game relies only on that aspect, it can get predictable. And once it's predictable, it's not scary anymore.
Was that the bite of 87?
Because real horror, it's not about what you see, it's about what you don't. The fear of not knowing what comes after that corner or what's behind that closed door, this is what really gets under your skin. So I was really pleased when I got the chance to play Fate, the Unholy Trinity. Because Fate might not offer that sexy ray tracing, but it's very precise with its art style, as every pixel is placed with a purpose, creating an 8-bit world that is detailed and almost photorealistic at times. And on this note, the cutscenes are maybe the best thing about the game. They are created from rotoscoped animation, a technique where the pixel art is mimicking movements of real actors, making the character feel almost too alive. This contradiction between realistic and artificial is also created with the audio, as every character is voiced by Sam's text-to-speech but with different values. This creates voices that are both artificial and unique at the same time, because you can actually tell which character is speaking during the gameplay. But this is only the tip of the iceberg about Fate, because if there is something I appreciated more than the art direction, that's the story. During the analysis, there will be mild spoilers on the game. You've been advised. And if you are liking the video so far, leave a like and subscribe. It is much appreciated. The story follows Father John Ward and his struggle against evil demonic forces. The game opens up with our protagonist as he wants to redeem himself after the failed exorcism of the young Amy Martin. This incident happened 1 year prior to the start of the game, is the main drive force of John's actions as he feels responsible for the deaths of many. But John's guilt will lead him to discover a bigger and scarier truth, as all of these events are the result of the operation of a powerful cult called the Order of the Second Death. The Order is under the influence of a violent entity, called the and their goal is to summon the Antichrist and purge the world. John is the only one that can oppose them, so he reluctantly faces this threat. The story may seem your classic demonic horror type game, but there is something more sinister about it. There are little details hidden in the game, but when you see them, the story becomes completely different. You see, we the player experience the story throughout John's perspective. But John is not a reliable narrator, because during the whole game, he lies to us. When John first arrives at the Martin's house, he is very nervous. At this point of the story, he is inexperienced and puts his trust in his superior, Father Allred. When Amy's demons breaks free from the exorcism and kills her parents and Father Allred, John is scared and prays for help.
Lord, help me. Somebody please help me.
When he seems finished, a white entity offers him salvation in exchange of Amy's soul. As John himself will state later in the game, this entity is the devil, and is tempting our protagonist in his weakest moment. Unfortunately, John is just a man, and scared for his life, selfishly makes a pact with the devil. And this is an important thing about John. He's not a brave hero, he is a coward. With more faith in God and himself, he could have saved everyone. But in this difficult moment, he runs away. Once taken by the police, John spends almost a year inside a mental care institute. During this time, the priest is tormented by the memories of that traumatic experience, and also the sense of guilt he feels towards Amy. His time in the institute only breaks his spirit even more. When he's discharged, he locks every document and memories of his past year inside the room, guarded by crosses as a coping mechanism. In fact, John refuses to come to terms with everything he has been through. He seems numb during gruesome game events, having unnatural reactions to what happens in the game. But it's evidence that he is angry and resented towards himself and the cult members, having violent and self-harmful thoughts. As a result of this self-hatred, he also isolates himself from his friends and family. So, when Amy returns, John is not only intentioned to save the girl, but mainly to save himself and atone for his sins. But John's spirit is still weak, fragile, and before he can truly find his peace, John must descend deeper to the bottom of hell to find out who he really is. And this is what happens as the game progresses. During our adventure, John comes in contact with forces that are trying to control his mind and his dreams. And with every chapter, his faith in God, represented by our crucifix, becomes weaker and weaker, going from a shiny gold to a wood brown. So, is there a way for John to save himself? Well, yes and no. The game has two main endings, good and bad. They are unlocked based on John's in-game actions. If we try to avoid conflict, not defeating in-game bosses, John will doom the world and his loved ones. He has not learned anything. He remains weak and a coward, and is not forgiven for his actions. If we have done everything correctly, instead, John is able to face Gary and Malphas. The fight is a tough one, but for the first time, we are able to survive many of the enemy's attacks thanks to John's now renowned courage and faith in God. With the order defeated, Amy returns to herself, thanking John for his efforts, and asks him to let her rest.
Amy, I'm so sorry. I couldn't save you. En nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
The game wants to tell us that John's fate is determined only by his actions and his will to change himself. And this is the scariest thing about fate. The game is not only about scary monsters, it's about you. It's about the wrongs we do in our life, the exams we fail, the chances we lose, the people we hurt. These are the real horrors of life, because we can't load a new save file, there is no New Game Plus. This is real life, and once a moment is gone, then it's gone, forever. But what the game teaches us is that we are not too late to change ourselves. We have the power to do something different, something better. But to do that, we must believe in what's good in us. We must have faith in ourselves. In fact, as Father Garcia says,
You